From our previous class, we gave an introduction about what is delict and the definition of delict and the differentiation of delict from crimes and from the breach of contract and from infringement of fundamental rights. Now we are going to look at delict in customary law, delictual claims under customary law. We'll look at the fact that we are, as a dual system, we acknowledge that there are delictual claims that are available under customary law, and we'll look at them as we continue. Now, for our introduction, it is notable that in customary law delictual claims, there is no distinction between crime and delict. That distinction that we gave from the prior class, the distinction is not there in customary law. In customary law, there's almost no distinction between the two, and most wrongs are dealt with by extracting compensatory damages. So if, let's say, for example, we said assault and delict are assault as a crime also falls under a delict. So here in this instance, most delictual claims, which are both crimes and delict, are given compensatory damages. There is no imprisonment or so forth in delictual claims under customary law. So the primary basis for that kind of penalty or compensatory damages, even if it is a crime of assault and so forth, they're saying that they want to set the equilibrium right. A wrong has destabilized society, a wrong has caused some kind of disturbance in society, and they want to restore that wrong. And the restoration of social harmony is mostly the reason for delictual claims under customary law, but it can also be as a result for penalty for the offender as well, besides it also being compensatory. Now, homicide penalty, when there is a homicide, when there is a negligent killing of another person, what usually happens is that a penalty fine, or not really a fine, because it's mostly a payment that is made to the chief and damages to the guardian of the family and of the person who is killed. And in customary law, it is based on causation, not fault, and parents are liable vicariously for delicts of children. So for customary law delictual claims, we see that most of the delicts that come in, they do not look at intention or negligence. It's mostly who caused this. Because of that, then you are compensated for. And we look at the parents. Here they're saying that when unlike delictual claims under children, under general law, when a child commits a wrong against another person, in customary law, parents are held liable for negligence, allowing a child to do so. Now, specific customary law delicts, there are different immeasurable types, but we are only going to deal with a short list. For example, when there's an unlawful killing of someone else, of another, then this is considered a serious delict for which damages are payable to the dead person's family, to the chief, and to the court. Though in the past we know that a young person was given to the family of the deceased to ward off the spirits of the dead, or what others would term as ngozi. This is now not allowed. It is unconstitutional and it is prohibited. And in terms of rape, they consider it a serious delict, and it is not claimed by the victim, unfortunately, but by the husband of the person who has been raped, or in terms of adultery, and by the guardian of the victim under seduction. In terms of assault, we have the intentional and accidental cause of harm to another. So this is how it is defined: the intentional or accidental cause of harm to another. The amount in damages increase if the victim is someone who ought to have been especially respected by the offender. We talked about this in class. If the person has a special relationship with the person that they have assaulted or disrespected in such a manner, then the court is most likely, the customary law court is most likely going to give a greater monetary compensation because of the obligation that you had, or the duty of respect that you should have exercised. So if a person hits a younger sister, they might be liable, let's say, for $500, right? But if that person hits their father, their uncle, their grandfather, then they might be liable for thousands, because of the respect that they ought to have given to that person. In terms of wife and child beating, traditionally a man was entitled to beat his wife and child, though not his wife excessively. If beaten excessively for no reason, she was then entitled for damages to assault. Now, this has been overridden by the act, but in customary law, traditionally, a man was entitled to beat his wife, but not as excessively. If he did do so excessively without any reason, then he would have been held liable. This is a traditional thing. But now, generally, if a man beats his wife and child, they are entitled to damages for assault. A wife can claim damages from the husband who critiques or even nags them unreasonably. So, if a wife considers that my husband talks too much or nags too much, then they can go to court and claim damages for that. And then as we continue with specific crimes, in the case of harm caused by animals, a person is held liable for harm caused by his animals. Cattle and bulls enter fields and sometimes even kill someone. Damages can be claimed in that regard. And I was talking about the fact that there's an organization, I can't remember, was it the R something organization? And I talked about the fact that I was once at a meeting, a gathering in the rural areas, and they were talking, and the member of parliament and the headsmen were talking to the people, and they were saying that if someone's cow or goat goes into a field and eats your crops, you as a person, you as a victim, should go to that organization that I'm talking about, or department within government that was set up. They go to that place, and the person from that place comes and assesses the damage and gives you a report on the value of the damage that has been caused. And you can take that report and bring it to the court, to the chief, and the chief will make a order in that regard. And you tell the owner of the cow or bulls or whatever to pay you that amount. Now, in terms of defamation, this entails damaging another's good name and reputation in the community by saying things that are untrue about a person in public or in writing, or showing it to another person. So, in most cases in rural areas, it was accusing someone of being a witch or something like that. So, in terms of defamation, investigations of communal disturbance are serious allegations, especially when it relates to witchcraft. And there's an act that was put in place, the Witchcraft Suppression Act, Chapter 9:19. It says that it is a criminal offense now to claim someone is a witch. Now, as a criminal offense, you cannot be tried in customary law courts. You should You can go to the magistrate courts and say, this person said that I'm a witch, and try it in that regard. And not only does it relate to ruining another's good name, just speaking disrespectfully, it can also be referred to as defamation in customary law courts. If a person speaks disrespectfully to someone he owes special respect to, like I explained prior, then that person will be held liable for delictual claims. Now, as we continue, there is also a crime about lying, but just mere lying is not sufficient to be a claim for delict. A person who has lost money because of someone else's lie can claim damages as a result. You can say that this person lied to me, and as a result I lost this and this amount of money. Then you can claim that money back. Now, in terms of quarreling, it says that a traditional court can order a person who is quarrelsome to pay damages and keep the peace. So that is clear and simple. And then we have adultery. Only a husband can bring a claim or an action for damages for adultery, and this is noted in Gwatidzo versus Masukusa 2000 at 415C. It says that the court held that a woman married in customary law did not have the right to claim damages for adultery. This can be criticized in so many ways, but this is what is on the ground. This is the fact. So if you as a wife want to claim adultery, you cannot, seeing as the husband not only can now do whatever he wants but marry many wives, he can now also claim that you, though I have hundreds of wives, cannot sleep with another person. Now that is very restrictive. Anyway, let's continue. So this is the case. Let's continue. Persuading a wife to leave husband. So if a person makes claims, if a person persuades a wife of another person to leave that person, then a person can claim damages for it. Let's say you, I gave this example in class, let's say you as the learned colleague that you are in the legal fraternity, you have learned that you have learned your rights of inequalities and so forth, and you realize that no man, my neighbor, my aunt in the rural areas is being abused and we cannot allow that, and you persuade her to leave her husband, then the husband can claim from you in delict because he has lost the association and consortium and affection with his wife as a result of your actions. So according to customary law, you can claim damages for you. So let's continue. Seduction. The guardian of a minor can claim damages for another who has seduced her. From another who has seduced her. If she is a major, she can claim damages for herself. The legal age of majority is 18. This is straightforward stuff. If you are a major and you have been seduced, you can claim damages for yourself, and the guardian of a minor can claim damages from another who has seduced the minor. As we continue, the next lesson now, as we continue with the law of delict, the next lesson will deal with Aquilian action and its elements. As I said before, delict is roughly or simplified to a great extent is merely two things: Aquilian action and extra injuriarum. So we'll deal with Aquilian action and all the relevant actions that the plaintiff will have to prove in court and any defenses that are available to the defendant, and we'll talk then about extra injuriarum and the possible actions therein, And then we'll look at other principles like vicarious liability and other forms of delict that are available, but there are not a lot. These are the two main ones that we'll deal with. Thank you.